Good evening. Good evening. Good evening to you. We're happy to have all of you here. We'll be following the agenda. So right now, please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. Moving right along, can I get approval for the minutes from December 12th?
I make a motion to approve December 12th minutes as presented.
A second.
Okay. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor for approval do so by raising your right hand. Next, can I get approval of the meeting agenda with our additions?
I make a motion that we approve the meeting agenda with the revised additions as stated.
Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor for approval do so by raising your right hand. Next, recognitions and announcements.
Good evening as well. Thank you, Ms. White. This evening we have 3 recognitions. We're very pleased with each of them. We would like to, first of all, begin with the recognition of our school board, as this is School Board Appreciation Month. I'd like to ask Dr. Joe Powers, Ms. Erica Sandlin to come forward, please.
Good evening. Okay, so we'll good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for allowing me just to say a few words about School Board Appreciation Month. When the U.S. Department of Education was non-existent and no Title I fund existed and very few regulations for federal spending existed to guide local school board decisions, the National School Boards Association existed. That was about 1940. Although North Carolina is no longer affiliated with the National School Boards Association, our state still values and advocates for the education of our youth. But I'm not here to give you a history lesson on the national, state, or local school boards associations. Instead, this evening, we want to celebrate our board. We want to celebrate School Board Appreciation Month by shining a bright spotlight on our board. We are thankful to have a local Board of Education that strongly believes in and values education. These individuals demonstrate compassion with governance, direction, and quite frankly, tough love. Words cannot begin to express or get gratitude for each board member. I will suffice to say, grateful. Testing. We are thankful to have a local Board of Education that strongly believes in and values education. These individuals demonstrate compassion with governance, direction, and again, quite frankly, tough love. Words cannot begin to express our gratitude for each board member. I suffice it to say, we are truly grateful for your commitment and unwavering dedication to Vance County Schools. That said, it is our distinct honor this evening to recognize and hold in the highest esteem the Vance County Schools Board of Education, a group of individuals who demonstrate the work of champions. Thank you for your work, for all the work that you do to support students, families, faculty, and staff. Please join me in giving this board a round of applause.
For all of the work that our Board of Education does. We have a commercial on WIDS going on this month, as well as a social media campaign in your honor for all of the work that you do. In addition to that, principals, please stand. Our principals, students, and schools have put together a little token of their gratitude for you. So please go to the board member of your choosing. And let's celebrate our board and give them a hand while this is taking place. We are so thankful. Dr. Ray.
As everybody, going back to the seats, I just want to, thank you all. And it's so great to see so many of our students here. We're very appreciative, and we really enjoy, being the Board of Education for Vance County.
Thank you to each board member. We are very blessed. Our next piece is our Student Spotlight program, and for that we'll have Andrew Markoch, Erica Salmon, and Kellen Holtzman from the Daily Dispatch. Ms. White, if you'll join me up front, please.
Thank you all. We're so excited to have you all here. We are excited about this program. It's been in existence for quite some time where we celebrate our students. I'd like to turn it over to our editor from the Henderson newspaper, Mr. Kellen Holtzman.
So usually about midway through the student spotlight interviews, I realize that the kids are smarter than I am. Sometimes it doesn't take me that long. Even at their young ages, they're destined to do special things. I know the teachers and parents see that every day, but it's good for the rest of us to get that reminder. I think that's kind of what student spotlight's all about. The kids that are being honored for the spotlight usually are very good students, but their work ethic and their attitude, I think that's the main reasons why they're nominated and selected. I think that's the kind of spirit that'll take them the furthest in life. More than anything else, I'm proud that we have students like these representing our area. So thank you to Vance County Schools for including the Dispatch, and especially to Erica, Andrew, and Brielle for helping make Student Spotlight possible. And to the students, congratulations.
And although I know the students get their formal recognition from the dispatch later on this spring, we have a little something for them from the Vance County Schools, and we'll have the students come up when you hear your name, get your certificate, and come on up to the VCS so you can have a picture taken with Dr. Bennett and his wife. Macy Ray Herron, Vance County Early College. Jeffrey Askew. Hayden Henderson. Rihanna Dorsch. Emmy Isaac. Mariah Royster. Iad Hodder. And the last of our 8 this semester, Michael Spitzer. Congratulations to all of you.
We'll have someone, Mr. Ortega taking the picture, that will be fine. Thank you. No pressure.
Yeah.
Later in the year, of course, will be a wonderful dinner for them. We're also looking at the possibility of a wonderful trip for the students. Second semester, we will recognize the remaining 8 for the year. The next thing we would like to do tonight, Mr. Ray Horner, our Executive Director of Student Services, would come forward. This is School Resource Officer Month, and school safety and patrol, all of that wrapped up together. And we have some folks who really do support us. Mr. Warner?
Thank you. At this time, could I have the SROs come forward? Okay, today, Vance County Schools celebrate School Resource Officer Day. We want to recognize our school resource officers, or SROs, for the tremendous work that is being done in our secondary schools. The job of a school resource officer involves ensuring the safety of all staff and students during the school day, protecting our properties against damage and theft, providing consultation to students about school safety, drug and alcohol abuse, bullying, and online safety, working with guidance counselors and support staff when referring students to service agencies, and maintaining a positive relationship throughout the community. Tonight, I would like to introduce you to our SROs. First, at Vance County Middle School, we have Deputy Gregory Lewis. At Vance County High School, we have Deputy Kiana Kearney. And at Advance Academy, we have Deputy Andre Harper. We want to sincerely thank you for all that you do for Vance County Schools. I would also like to thank the countless number of officers from the Vance County Sheriff's Department who have been filling in for our one vacancy at the high school. They are also doing a tremendous job, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention them. Thanks again.
Seeing that we don't have any comments from the public, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Board Chair. Ms. White, as we move forward this evening, there are a few things to update the board and our audience here with. We'll begin with our fiscal oversight monthly report by our Chief Fiscal Officer, or Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Johnson.
Good evening. The accounts have been reconciled through November. The second half of the $1,000 retention bonus will be paid this month in January. The finance staff has begun working on calendar year-end closing to issue W-2s and 1099s to the individuals and vendors. The audit report for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2022 was received and reviewed by the LGC, and the annual comprehensive financial report has been submitted to the GFOA and the ASBO for annual awards. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Super. I would like to, on behalf of the entire district, again, thank the board for your support of all of our employees with the sign-on bonuses and the retention bonuses. That has been very, very meaningful to all employees. So I would like to say thank you. You've heard Mr. Super say that the second portion of the retention bonus will be paid later this month. That has certainly been a blessing to many employees. Thank you. Next, the COVID update. We continue to monitor our COVID numbers throughout the school, and while there has been a rise in the past few months community-wise, we have not had identified more than 4 COVID cases on any given day. And that was right before the holiday break, so we're very thankful for that. The next piece, our Safe Schools grant. We had mentioned earlier that the district had received a Safe Schools grant. Mr. Travis Taylor and Mr. Ray Porter will be working with that grant. We're very appreciative of that funding. So I would like to pause now and give Mr. Porter and anyone who is assisting him this evening an opportunity to give us a brief update on that Safe Schools grant. Mr. Warner?
Thank you. As you said, we have received the Safer Schools grant for the 2022 to 2023 fiscal year. There are 4 line items in this package. It includes school resource officers, school safety equipment, services for students in crisis, and training to increase school safety. We have already begun purchasing with this money. We have purchased AEDs for the school. And we have also purchased first aid kits. I know a priority of the school board was the panic buttons. We do have some information that we would like to present tonight regarding the panic buttons. We have approached a vendor, and right now we are assessing whether this is the correct fit for Vance County Schools. Marsha Abbott.
Mr. Warner, remind us again what that amount, that grant was for?
The total amount of the grant is $841,270.
We're very appreciative of that. I will tell you that $440,000 of that total amount was allocated for the securing of SROs at our elementary schools. We continue to seek to find school resource officers at the elementary level. Working with the county, working with the city police, they're still struggling as they are struggling to fill their vacancies. So if we are unable to do that, then Mr. Warner and Mr. Taylor have approached the State Department for the allowance to revise our budget to use a portion, if not all of that funding for something else.
All right, I guess we can talk about the, we see it here and get some time, to look at it and maybe discuss it in finance, what we have here. Okay? We get it? Exactly.
When an emergency strikes, seconds and minutes can mean the difference between life and death. Every 15 seconds that an active shooter has unrestricted access to more people, he will claim another victim. Or when someone goes into cardiac arrest and their heart stops beating, every 1 minute that passes without the initiation of CPR, there's a 10% decrease in survival. It goes without saying, rapid response is critical to saving lives in an emergency. Schools, businesses, healthcare, and government facilities experience emergencies of all types every day. If an emergency occurs at work, the Rave Panic Button smartphone app quickly connects you to 911 and at the same time sends an alert to your colleagues and any security personnel on campus. The app can be used during any type of crisis situation, such as incidents that require immediate 911 assistance or cases where only facility staff members need to be notified. How does the Rave Panic Button app work? During the initial setup, administrators are chosen for your facility and will enter information about the campus at www.smart911facility.com. They can enter facility details such as buildings, floor plans, and landlines, as well as employee names, email addresses, and mobile phone numbers. Once you've been entered into the system by an administrator, you can then download and register with the app. iPhone users will download from the Apple App Store and Android users from the Google Play Store. In the store, click Search, then type Rave Panic Button in the search bar. Now, let's say that you have downloaded the Rave Panic Button app and an emergency occurs at your facility where 911 needs to be notified. Whether you are calling from an iPhone or an Android, first identify the button option that closest relates to your emergency. Hold the button down for 1.5 seconds to activate the emergency call. Both iPhone and Android users will be prompted to first confirm the emergency call before being connected to 911. For instance, if you activate Panic Button to report an active shooter on campus, the app will immediately connect you to 911 and send an emergency alert to all employees at the same time. However, if you activate the medical emergency button, 911 will be dialed, but only key administrators and staff with medical training will be notified. Now, as you know, not all urgent situations require dialing 911. For instance, let's say a school teacher witnesses a minor injury during recess. The teacher can then choose the Staff Assist feature to only notify the nurse on campus and key administrators. Another example may be if the smoke detector goes off at your facility but turns out to just be a false alarm. Staff Assist can then be used to notify all on-site employees that it is safe to re-enter the building. Now that we've discussed how the Panic Button app can help in an emergency, what are the next steps? Number 1, ensure your employer has your mobile phone number and email address so you will be authorized to register with the app. Number 2, download the Rave Panic button.
Thank you, Ms. Abbott. So just a brief overview. As the board's priority, number one priority, of course, is school safety, as is ours. And so this happens to be one thing that we could implement very quickly so that every employee would have access to a panic button via their personal phone. So we will continue to investigate this and a couple of other options, but we want to move as quickly as we can. And we're very blessed with the funding from the Safe Schools Grant, because whatever the option is that the board prefers, we now have the funding for it. Thank you so much. The last thing for the superintendent's report, the board standing committees, our committee meetings, of course, are shared out with each of our board members. And Ms. White, I'll give you an opportunity, please, to share with us the committee structures for the upcoming year.
Put that on the screen there, and what we'll do now is that I've talked to all board members and about the assignments, and you have them here. They're in your book as an addendum. So right now, we get a motion to approve the standing committees.
Make a motion to approve the standing committees as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor for approval do so by raising your right hand. Okay. Right, next we'll move on to the standing committees, and we did not meet in December, but we do have information in our book, and we have an addendum for the personnel. So may I get a motion to approve the personnel summary sheet and the addendum?
Make a motion to approve the personnel sheet and the addendum as presented.
I second that.
Okay, any discussion? There being none, all those in favor for approval do so by raising your right hand. Finance, Mr. Super.
Good evening again. In your packet, you will see two items that we are bringing to the board tonight for action. The first one is the international faculty sponsorship. Just some main points on that. It's once an international teacher serves our district for 5 years, they are required to return to their original country of origin for at least 1 year. However, to remain in our country, the individual teacher must apply for a waiver and secure sponsorship from an employer. Below, you'll find a chart with each stage of this sponsorship and the total cost to become a U.S. resident. In return for the sponsorship, a teacher signs an agreement to work for our district for 5 years, and if the teacher leaves before the end of the contracted time, they must pay the total cost of the sponsorship back to Vance County Schools. So to sponsor one individual, the total cost throughout these stages would be $10,220. Sponsorships are normally funded through local current expense, but we can use other funds such as Restart funds if the teacher is located at a Restart school. And because of our very tight local current expense budget, we are recommending no more than 2 sponsorships per fiscal year. So that would mean the district would approximately spend $20,440 in local funding, but this is subject to change, of course, in case there are increases in the future. And then we are asking the administration the administration is requesting the board to approve funding for no more than 2 international faculty sponsorships per fiscal year in the local current expense fund.
We've done sponsorships before, so have we had any trouble with them staying the additional 5 years after being sponsored?
None that I'm aware of.
But that must be none.
It is good. It is good.
Okay, and if they don't, then how would we go about trying to recoup?
We would have to go through our attorney and seek legal action if necessary, up to legal action if necessary, if they didn't volunteer to be pay that money to us.
And if I may, Ms. White, it's clearly stated in the sponsorship form what their expectations and legal expectations are. And so I think it would be fairly simple, should we have to recoup. I'll tell you, this year we have 17 international teachers on year 5. 2 have found employment in Canada and have left us over the holiday break. We have 15. Now, we know we are unable to sponsor all 15. We do have an internal process where we look at multiple criteria for the teachers to determine and to rank those who have had the greatest impact on test scores and student performance during their tenure in the district. And then we will look at need based on the content that they're actually teaching before a decision is made around who the board can seek to sponsor. As Mr. Souther said, looking at no more than 2 local funds, Restart Schools have the fees that they can pay for their own should they want to sponsor a teacher who is in year 5 who has that significant rating. But we do prioritize so that it isn't just willy-nilly. There is a very specific criteria, and only those are eligible for potential sponsorship.
Make a motion to accept the finance report.
Get a second? Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor for approval do so by raising your right hand.
And the second item we have for the board tonight is certified instructional support personnel signing bonus. And as you know, the district is experiencing difficulties in hiring and retaining qualified, certified instructional support. We are requesting the support to be provided to our district to ensure that we can sustain a workforce for nurses, counselors, and social workers only, and at a competitive wage. This funding for the signing bonus would come from ESSERs like our other signing bonuses have come from and be paid out over 18 months. And then you can see here the grid of how we would pay that out. Total funding for an estimated 10 certified instructional support, which would be nurses, counselors, and social workers, would come to $53,825. That includes FICA. The action requested tonight is for the administration request the board to approve the signing bonus for certified instructional support personnel for nurses, counselors, and social workers only.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve that financial report.
I second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor for approval do so by raising your right hand. There were no other committee meetings, so no new business. So we have the transfers and releases.
You have 2 students requesting to transfer into Vance County Schools and 3 students requesting release from Vance County Schools.
Can I get a motion to approve the transfers and releases?
Second.
Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor for approval do so by raising your right hand. Okay. Okay. At this time, we would like to thank all of you sincerely for being here tonight, and we hope that you will come again. Right now, I make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to provisions of NCGS 143-318.11 for the purposes of discussing legal, personnel, and property issues pursuant to that subsection. That is my motion. Can I get a second? Second. All those in favor do so by raising your right hand. Thank you. And thank